This year, Helensburgh Public School with several other schools have engaged in professional learning and collaborative networks to explore aspects of literacy and learning. We have extended our knowledge and expertise through theoretical discussions grounded in research and exploring literacy acquisition processes through observation and related tasks. In terms 2, 3 and 4, our kindergarten team were involved in professional learning with other early stage 1 teachers, collegial visits involving classroom observations, discussions and our L3 regional trainer. Planning and implementing of L3 strategies in our classroom was an important component. L3 has been designed to complement the daily literacy program for students who enter school with diverse literacy backgrounds. An aspect of the L3 course which I have found valuable has been reading. I have gained so many ideas through the contact with other kindergarten teachers in our neighbouring schools and the sharing of their ideas, experiences and resources. As a result of this contact, I have used their tried and tested explicit literacy games. Our whole team and program of literacy activities have been expanded and enriched. Quality texts were quickly purchased and have been a valuable teaching resource. The sharing of quality literature and writing samples amongst us over the duration of the course was enjoyable and informative. One of the most valuable strategies of the L3 course was the implementation of the children working in flexible groups, limited to 3 for guided reading and writing. Also, the strong recommendation of the use of the PM readers has had a massive impact on our students' performance. Our successful use of these readers was enhanced by the study of skill development at the different levels, having a greater understanding of the children in the acquisition phase, coupled with the appropriate teaching strategies and understanding of teacher expectation. Kylie's mentoring, with her emphasis on short, sharp and explicit teaching, student prompting and observation of students' learning, provided invaluable to me. Supplementary whiteboards and supplies of magnetic letters were also quickly obtained in order to implement effective word work, which has become a vital teaching tool used in every lesson. This ultimately led to a higher level of phonemic awareness and overall reading skills. The Reading 2 strategy integrated well into our classrooms with its emphasis on comprehension skills, study of characterisation and vocabulary enrichment. The progression of the Reading 2 strategy, with its focus at the beginning of the training on the development of listening skills through small group work to whole class detailed studies of quality literature extended over several lessons, has been another successful strategy which we have implemented. Our success with the L3 course has been largely dependent on our reliance of our L3 mentor and other colleagues sharing strategies to help assist with its implementation. As a team, we are very pleased with our results this year and are keen to continue adding to our effective teaching strategies and upgrading our resources. I look forward to implementing L3 strategies next year through the effective skills and resources acquired this year. Thank you, Kylie, for your guidance, time and effort throughout the duration of this course.
How did I choose quality literature for our classroom? I think the most important thing was to pick books that related to the kids themselves. So I always tried to pick books that they would have some interest in, maybe about animals or about small children. One that we really loved was Peggy by Anna Walker, and it related to Australia and their world and cities and chickens, so that worked well. The most important thing too was to make sure that there was vivid imagery, great pictures that sometimes told a different story, something exciting, something that made you laugh or cry. I always like to read the books myself and get into them, and if I like them, then usually it's something the kids will like. We've gone wrong a couple of times, but most of the time we would find something that just stirs emotions, I think is a big thing. Has some underlying lesson, or maybe something that is addressing an issue that's a bigger issue worldwide, and the kids really get into that. Also, For myself, as someone who loves literature, I always picked books that had great language, either whether it was poetic or just interesting words, to get the kids into that, whether they could understand them or not. And I found too that Premier's Reading Challenge books were excellent. Always going to the local library, and they have them all set up there for you. You can usually find great books with rich language and lots of ideas that we could discuss in the classroom.
Absolutely love the conversation aspect of L3 this year. The children's writing has become more interesting with the use of quality literature and the involvement of the whole class in conversation prior to writing. It's been great to see the children develop their conversational skills and see the enjoyment they get when talking about the text. During the early conversations, the children would retell the story, but now the children are thinking about the big ideas and sharing their thoughts with the rest of the class. Quality literature gives an opportunity for greater discussion of the text, the freedom children have to take the conversation to wherever they like, while also following the rules of conversation has worked wonderfully well. One of my favourite books has been This Is Not My Hat by John Classon. It's a story about a little fish who has stolen a hat from a big fish while he was sleeping. He thought the hat was just his size and too big for the big fish anyway. The story lent itself to a great conversation and discussion about taking things that don't belong to you, feelings of both the fish, and discussing what might have happened at the end of the story when the big fish went to get his hat back. Some ideas the children came back up with were that perhaps the big fish caught his hat in the seaweed. Or maybe the little fish may have said to the big fish when he got into the seaweed, "Here is your hat." Or perhaps the big fish asked the little fish, "Can I have my hat back?" Or maybe the big fish ate the little fish because he took the hat. So the children had lots of ideas before going back to write. The conversation allows the children to become involved and give their ideas, learning to take turns and appreciate and add to the other comments. Mostly I love the children's enthusiasm, the opportunity the conversations give them to write, and the wonderful writing that is produced by them. I have found the L3 conversations to be enjoyable, informative, and a springboard for wonderful varied writing.
Writing sessions prior to our L3 training, I see or remember myself as a somewhat frustrated teacher, actually trying to teach too many things at once and wondering why nobody worked it out. I think the different stages of teaching writing have been really valuable, starting with the guided writing. And I guess my biggest message from guided writing for the kids was what you think you can say and what you say you can then write. I like the idea of teaching handwriting in that context, in that early context, and that's an area for improvement for, I think, for all of us next year, to get that right from the start, and to be insisting on the correct formation of the letters in those sessions right from the beginning. The next aspect, the early interactive writing, I think perhaps that is one of my favourite aspects of L3, the early interactive writing, because I see how the use of that clear, concise language and that short, sharp, focused lesson is such a valuable tool. Rather than trying to teach lots of things all at once, focusing on just one thing and doing it multiple times for really short sessions, it has been a really great tool to use in the classroom. I know I can look at students' samples and find areas of need and really focus on these in my early interactive writing sessions. The next part, the later interactive writing, I really enjoy that too. I guess with later interactive writing, the opportunity to have multiple teaching points is quite comfortable for me, sits more comfortably, but I'm also more focused on what I actually want to do in those sessions, whereas before I might have still had far too many things happening. So now I pick a couple of focuses, but I also have the children remind each other of what it is that they need to remember themselves during that time. And that way I feel like we are always touching on all those basic things that they do forget. I like the joint construction. I like the sharing of the strategies that we might be able to use. And a big lesson for me is during those sessions to pick what is highly generative. So Kylie, you taught me that. When I, for example, wrote the word Sydney on during my interactive writing, my later interactive writing session, I actually went through, because I was focused on syllables, and Kylie pointed it out. Does it have a high generative value? Will they need to use it again in their writing? That particular spelling pattern? Probably not. So I've found, I've just taken so many things from those sessions and working with Kylie on those. The independent writing, as Jan mentioned in her talk earlier, the shared conversation is just wonderful. We've really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I think it really sets the students up for success in their writing because they've heard the story multiple times, they've talked about it, they've got their own bank of background knowledge, if you like, that they can then take and use that to help them with their writing. I like that we set them up for success right from the beginning with our high expectations, that they will write the whole time, that they do know what's expected of them during that writing time. I love the idea, if you think it, you can write it, get over there and get it down. It's strong and it's powerful. And I guess the greatest thing, the biggest shift of all in all of our writing has really been to value the message. Kylie Pratt, we value the message. I still go into, when the children are writing, I might still walk around and be really tempted to say, oh, you know, your full stop's missing, or where's your capital letter? But I'm able to pull myself up and value the message first, and I think that's a really big lesson to us, to every single one of us, and something that we will remember and use it always. So it has been an invaluable experience for us, and I know that our team has learned so much and so many things that we're going to take with us. So thank you to you, Kylie. You have made our experience just amazing, and we just can't put into words, I guess, how much we appreciate it. So thank you very much.
One night I thought a cicada hit my foot, so I went downstairs and outside, and my mum got scared because there was a frog. Frogs are amphibians. These are tadpoles. Tadpoles eat algae.
And why is that your favourite piece of writing?
Because I like the tadpoles on the page, and tadpoles are cool. Dear Jemima, I love how you let me be some of the rainbow too. I adore how you do love hearts with me. Love your dear kind friend Pink Crayon.
All right. Jemima, why did you like that piece of writing that you did?
Because it's pink.